Childs, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate the introduction, but we must get right to it. First, remind the audience who has been eliminated. No new teams because no one was facing elimination last week. The committee talked long and hard. Do we need to uneliminate the Cleveland Browns now that they have an NFL quarterback? We decided no, but we're watching them. There are teams facing elimination this week, and it's a who's not who. It's the Jags and the Jets. So that means the Jags this week in tough one against the Eagles, they could fall off the tiers, and the Jets could fall off the tiers tonight.
Yeah.
Next row. Maybe. All right, so the Dolphins and Cardinals are on the same row. People will be mad because the Cardinals just beat the Dolphins. They have a better record. It was on a last-second field goal. Tua is back. I think they're about the same. I'm really doing this because maybe the Colts don't know what they're doing. You don't draft a kid who's a kid who has 10 college starts, and everyone's like, oh, hey, he's super raw. He's inaccurate. And then after 10 games, be like, oh, he's super raw and inaccurate. Let's bench him. That's what.
What if he quits on the team?
He tired a lot.
He didn't quit on the team. My guy got a little winded. Point is this. What if the Bills had done it with Josh Allen? When you took Josh Allen in the top 10, they're like, dude, he was third team All-Mountain West. He completes 54% of his passes. They're like, yes, but he's a superhero athletically. What if he develops into it? 10 games in, they're the same player.
I'm going to go.
This is so wrong because 10 games in, Josh Allen didn't have a coach like Shane Steichen. That is the difference. That is the fundamental difference. Richardson is already starting off with a great top-level offensive coach. That is the difference.
I'll take
Listen, I want to make this very clear. I don't even believe Anthony Richardson's going to be good.
Oh,
You used to like
I like the idea. And to abandon the idea 10 games in is unforgivable. Next, the good, bad teams. These are the two best bad teams. Okay? So and by the way, they both might make the playoffs. But there's one of them certainly will. But these are the good, bad teams, which means they're not quite as good as the bad, good teams. These are good teams that are bad.
That's right.
These are definitively the worst good teams.
Sense.
So I hope you guys understand, like Seattle, and these are three offenses that, when they're rolling, can look great. Three defenses that have major issues across the board, but nobody really wants to play them. They're the bad, good teams, which are, of course, better than the good, bad teams. Next, high ceiling, low floor. Week to week, you really don't know what you're going to get from these guys. When these teams are rolling, feel like they can score 30, and except for the Bengals, really, the defense can hold you to 13. When they're not rolling, it's like they struggle to score 13, and you can easily get 30 on them. So these are also, oddly, 3 of my 4 preseason conference finalists. So I need this tier to start moving on up. Odd seasons. Eagles, Niners, Bucks. So the Eagles, I wrote off before the season. Then I made sure not to write back a couple games in. But now, credit where it's due, each of the last 3 weeks, not only have they won, they've looked more impressive in each of the wins. The Niners, the Niners have maybe stemmed the tide a bit due to the injuries, steadied themselves, now should be getting people back. And the Falcons, I can't quite get it. Because sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, man, Kirk looks awesome. And sometimes I watch and I say, I think it's unsafe to let him play tackle football because he can't move and won't move. But the offense looks great. Next, injuries piling up. This is concerning. Now, the Vikings tried to address it by trading for Cam Robinson, the left tackle from the Jags. But Christian Darrisaw is a devastating injury for them. They obviously already lost their quarterback for the year. And for the Texans, Nico's hamstring, he's supposed to be back in a week and a half, but it's a hamstring. And obviously, Diggs is out for the year. Very good teams, the injuries concern you. Earned our respect. Steelers and Commanders. We're at the halfway point of the season. They both lost twice. The Commanders' defense is improving. The Steelers' offense has greatly improved thanks to Brew's guy Russ. They are right now both big favorites to make the playoffs. Got to give respect where it's due. Speaking of Brew's Super Bowl tier. I don't know that I buy either of these teams a Super Bowl team. However, for Green Bay, they've been able to deal with their quarterback missing 2 full games and half of another one, and they still have a good record. The Ravens have been able to deal with the fact that I'm not certain all the defenders attend the same practices. Like, I think maybe it's like they split them into groups, and then they get on the field, and they're like, darn it, you were supposed to be here, we're supposed to be here. But both 5-win teams, both looking good. Teams du jour. The Lions and the Bills. Oh, they blow out these bad teams. Oh, they're so much fun to watch. Oh, those are the two most dangerous teams in football. Don't you see the point differential? Don't you see the fun trick plays Ben Johnson's dialing up? Don't you see Josh Allen finally taking care of the football? Those are the teams du jour, and if you don't speak French, that means, of course, teams of the day. And then there is, of course, team du destiny. The team of the destiny, or of the decade, pardon me. I don't speak French, I had to look that one up. And that's the still undefeated, yet perennially underrated and disrespected Kansas City Chiefs, who have not lost in 310 days. The second longest streak is, of course, the unbeatable Detroit Lions, who haven't lost in 45 days. That is...
Okay. Let's talk about this. This list was kind of flawed from the very beginning. First off, the Colts are better than the Miami Dolphins and the Cardinals. They are way too low. You got to move them up. Same thing with the Broncos and the Chargers. You're not putting the Cowboys above the Colts and the Broncos. I'm sorry, the Cowboys deserve to be maybe. The Cowboys are not bad, good teams, okay? They barely could beat the Giants, all right? They got rocked multiple times. The 49ers are decimated with injuries, and yet Dak Prescott could do nothing. All right, until the very end of the game, when, of course, you know, he gets his good old fashioned garbage time stuff. So, and again, I wouldn't put the Cowboys on the same level as the Buccaneers, quite frankly. I'm not super high on the Bucs, but I'm putting the Cowboys below the Buccaneers because I think Baker Mayfield and what the Bucs have been doing have impressed me, considering all their injuries. Don't get me wrong, even before those injuries, they still kind of looked outmatched against the Ravens, but for a moment, they were kind of holding their own, and then, you know, things kind of unraveled quickly. So I'm moving the Cowboys, I'm elevating the Colts, the Broncos, and the Chargers, and I would probably put them all in the same tier as the Bucs. Or I'd probably bring the Bucs below that, and I would still keep. I bring the Bucs down and the Cowboys down, but the Cowboys need to go down to the maybe, you know, for sure. And then the Bears, I do agree. I think the Bears, the Bengals, and the Rams. I think that's fair to group them all together. You know, this whole idea of a high ceiling, low floor. I don't know if the Rams necessarily have a low floor. The Rams are tough just because they've dealt with so many injuries, and now we're seeing those injuries. We're seeing the players come back. So I don't know if they have this low floor necessarily. They have a low floor with injuries, of course. So I think the Rams are going to continue to climb up. Although if we're looking at it just based on what's happened right now, right, headed into Week 9, I think it's fair, but I would not be surprised to see the Rams continue to climb higher and higher and higher. I am not putting the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Falcons together. Again, I'm going to elevate all of those teams, but I'm going to put the Eagles ahead of the Falcons and the 49ers. The Eagles are clearly playing better football now than when they first played the Falcons. They're fully healthy now, right? They have AJ, they have Devontae, they don't even have their starting O-line fully intact just yet, but they're playing significantly better, and it's just there's no way that I'm gonna have them that low. I'm not gonna have them below the Commanders or even the Steelers for that matter. I mean, look what the Steelers did versus the Giants. The Giants technically had a chance to win that game versus look what the Eagles did to the Giants, right? Completely different level of game. And again, those aren't perfect comparisons. They never are, but it is still a data point to consider. So I'm going to move the Eagles actually way up. And I think they're probably in the earned our respect. Again, at least in terms of that tagline, not maybe necessarily that ranking, but I have no problem putting the Eagles, the Commanders, the Steelers, the Packers, the Vikings, all in the same tier right now. I think, and they should be up there. They should be like on the third tier, essentially. I still give the Ravens the benefit of the doubt, the Bills, the Lions, and the Chiefs, more so because they just have a little bit more stability, a bigger punch, and I tend to believe in their coaching or what they've done historically just a little bit more confidently. But at the same time, I'm still elevating the Lions. I'm elevating the Lions as number one, and I'm going to put the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens more than anything on the same tier right now. Because to me, it's kind of like it'll be more so any given Sunday for those teams in terms of like who's able to pull it off. And and again, the problem with the Packers is what's going on with their injuries, because obviously I'm super high on the Packers as well, but it's like, can Jordan Love stay healthy? Is Jordan Love playing this week versus the Lions? Like he's been in and out of the lineup now multiple times. That is the unfortunate reality of this season for the Packers. I think if they're fully healthy and Jordan Love is fully healthy and can actually play 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row, the Packers team is going to really jump and accelerate and be significantly better. But the Vikings are still a top contender to me. I know the injuries are piling up, and same thing with the Texans. Unfortunately, the Texans' injuries issue are for real. And I don't know, right? Losing Diggs will definitely be hurtful. I don't know what the status is with Nico Collins, and hopefully once he comes back, it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, he's back, but like he re-aggravates his hamstring. Like it's so hard to know. Hamstring injuries can for sure linger. So it's like some of these injured teams, I almost just want to put them all in the same tier to be like, it's just kind of a race to who gets healthiest first, right? Like you can make the argument, put the 49ers, the Texans, the Vikings, even the Packers, just because Jordan Love, and be like, who can just get healthier quicker, right? Who can actually get healthy and then maintain that level of health. But pretty interesting tiers so far. But let's see what Mangini has to say.
Is the committee's Week 9 tiers. Coach?
Well done.
Pretty good. Well done.
I think that maybe you should go offside a little bit more often. This group of tiers was one of the better ones.
Wow. Hey, you get love from Coach.
I did not love the sarcasm that you put on the Detroit Lions. Didn't love that at all. And I think that the committee's got to be a little bit on pumpkin watch for one decision, to put Green Bay over Washington.
Oh.
Okay? And here's the thing.
The Commanders.
Well, here's the thing. Let's
let's
just talk about this. We talk about Jordan Love, and they had the run they had last year, and they got the good playoff experience, and he gets a new contract. But what's he do this year? He's been dinged up. I know we say Jaden Daniels, he's so fragile, but Jordan Love's been dinged up, so we've got that aspect to it. And now he's thrown 9 interceptions. Last year he threw 11 interceptions. So even when he's playing, the touchdowns, great. They've been fantastic. The interceptions are a real concern, and they're up and down. So let's take a look at Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Love. Okay, completion percentage, leads second in the NFL behind Goff, and then every other category: total yards per game, yards per pass, TD to interception, with the interception being the big one, and the passer rating. So there's the quarterbacks, and we're talking about a true rookie where Jordan Love had about 17 years to sit behind and get ready to play. Now, let's look at the two teams collectively and see what they're doing offensively and defensively. Washington, 3rd, points per game. Total yards per game, 3rd. 10th, opponents' points per game, and opponents' total yards, 13th. Better than Green Bay in every single category. So as good as this tiers was, and I congratulate you on that, there's still a little bit of a problem with these final segments.
So, Coach, listen, that is a very, very, very compelling argument as to why Washington's offense should be rated ahead of Green Bay's offense.
Did you not see the stats of opponent points per game? Maybe I need to.
Right? No,
can we pull that up again?
It was 10th, 11th. It was 10th, 11th. I understand.
Well, 15,
no, right.
13,
I think the defenses have been statistically identical, or close to identical. I think the Green Bay defense, I was skeptical of the Jeff Hafley coming in from Boston College, changing the Green Bay defense. They've been, to me, better than Washington's. I still have major concerns about Washington's defense, particularly with the injury to their star D tackle. But you make a compelling case, and you do get to take a bit of a victory lap for picking Washington before the year to win that division. I do like that. And
maybe the only one in the country. But, who's keeping track?
Go ahead, bro.
Well, look, I get it that for some reason this year you have become a champion of the Buffalo Bills. All right, like somewhat of a champion, right? After the Chiefs, they're like your team, all right? And the Cowboys, of course.
They're the second best team in the conference.
Well, that's the funny thing. In tackle football, they do this strange thing called playing each other. All right? So the Ravens and the Bills played each other, strangely as that might be, a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago?
And the Ravens,
How long ago?
The Ravens.
It doesn't make any sense because under Brew's logic, then the Browns should be above the Ravens and the Raiders should be above the Ravens.
This is what the Ravens did. They punched the Bills in the gut, coach. They took their lunch money and snatched their brand new sneakers from their feet in front of the entire school.
Take their starter
I think the score was 35-10. Yeah, they took that too.
It was embarrassing.
Score was 35-10. I mean, look, I get it. If the Ravens were 3-5, then we'd throw out that head-to-head matchup. But they're 5-3. They're a game behind the Bills, and they clobbered them. And the Bills have not beaten a team with a winning record this year. I know you love them, but the Ravens have beaten 2 division winners, 2 6-win teams, including, of course, the Bills. So the Ravens with 2 MVP candidates you should switch the Ravens and the Bills. That's what the
I
tier
think,
should
so I'll just be very simple. I think the Bills are better than the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think
But again,
they played it right. They're
oddly,
different teams.
strangely,
So does
it wasn't a
does
year
trade
ago.
deadline not matter? No, right. And
It
so
was
the
a few
Bills
weeks ago.
added Amari Cooper, which I think is a substantial addition. The Ravens, to me, one of the arguments about them early in the year when they were losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Raiders is, those defensive miscommunications, those will go away. They haven't. They were able to beat the Bills despite it. And I don't know if you've checked the old injury report this week, but yesterday and today, you know who wasn't practicing? Lamar Jackson. I don't know what the reasoning is. What do you mean he's
He
fine?
might have a cold.
Great point, Brew. The Ravens have gotten better as the year's gone on, too.
Thank you.
What do you mean the Ravens gotten better? They lost their last game. That is not getting better. They just lost. They just lost to a bad
AFC
team.
North.
They lost to a one-win team.
Prisoner.
You're talking about the Bills.
Prisoner.
You're talking about the Bills only beating bad teams.
Okay. Let's go back to this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much said, my piece kind of throughout the clip, so there's really not a whole lot to add. I think this week there's a lot of really fascinating, what I always call barometer games of where to put these teams. Something even as little as the Bucks versus the Chiefs, right? That defense is for real for the Chiefs, and the Bucks offense is lacking. And if the Bucks are able to hold their own, it's like, there you go, right? If they get demolished, then it's like, all right, there you go. The Lions playing the Packers, right? Like there's just definitely a handful of these games where we're going to be able to be like, okay, this is interesting to see kind of where we stand with all that. The Texans versus the Jets. I know the Texans aren't fully healthy, but can they still pull off a win on the road against the Jets, who are legitimately struggling? Do the Bears bounce back against the Cards? Like, there's just some really awesome games that I think we have moving forward that will continue to clarify these teams more than anything. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Nick's tiers headed into week 9? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.